Welcome to Wonderwave. Today we'll explore one of the most transformative inventions in human history, the printing press. This revolutionary device not only changed how we access information, but reshaped entire societies. From the Renaissance to the modern digital age, the printing press's influence is undeniable. Let's dive into the profound impact it had on the world. The printing press was invented by Johannes Gutenberg in the mid-15th century, around 1440. Before this, books were handwritten, a process that was time-consuming, expensive, and limited to a select few. Gutenberg's movable type press allowed for the mass production of books, dramatically reducing the cost and time required to produce written works. His invention is often cited as one of the most important milestones in the history of communication. The first major work printed using this technology was the Gutenberg Bible in 1455. This marked the beginning of a new era, where knowledge could be shared more easily and reach a wider audience. The printing press wasn't just a technological advancement, it was a social one. Before the printing press, literacy was confined to elites, the clergy, scholars, and the wealthy. Books were rare and access to them was limited. The printing press changed that. Suddenly, books could be printed in larger quantities, making them more accessible to the public. This began to break down the barriers that kept knowledge in the hands of the few. By making books cheaper and more widely available, the printing press spurred a rise in literacy rates across Europe. People who had never had the chance to read were now able to access a wealth of information. This democratization of knowledge began to challenge the established order. The printing press played a pivotal role in the spread of Renaissance ideas. Humanism, which emphasized the potential of the individual and the importance of classical learning, was given a boost by this new technology. Thinkers like Erasmus, Petrarch, and Machiavelli found their works spread across Europe with unprecedented speed. The availability of ancient Greek and Roman texts, previously confined to monasteries and royal courts, now reached scholars and intellectuals far beyond. This access to classical knowledge helped fuel the Renaissance, a period of great cultural and intellectual rebirth. It wasn't just the intellectual elite who benefited. Art, science, and philosophy were all influenced by the broader access to ideas made possible by the press. One of the most profound social impacts of the printing press was its role in the Protestant Reformation. In 1517, Martin Luther famously nailed his 95 Theses to the door of the Wittenberg Church, criticizing the Catholic Church's practices. But, what made Luther's message spread like wildfire was the printing press. Within weeks, Luther's theses were printed and distributed throughout Germany and beyond. His ideas advocating for reforms within the Church and promoting direct access to Scripture resonated with many. The printing press allowed these ideas to reach people quickly, and the Reformation gained momentum. This was a turning point not only for religious life, but also for political and social structures in Europe. Section 5, the Scientific Revolution. The printing press also played a key role in the scientific revolution. Before its invention, scientific knowledge was often guarded and shared among small groups of scholars, but as books became more accessible, so did scientific works. The printing press allowed scientists to share their findings with a broader audience. Figures like Galileo, Kepler, and Copernicus were able to publish their works and distribute them widely. This accelerated the pace of scientific discovery and allowed for peer review, debate, and collaboration. The spread of ideas no longer relied on word of mouth or small circles of educated elites. By making scientific knowledge widely available, the printing press helped lay the foundation for modern science. It enabled the questioning of traditional views and encouraged empirical observation and experimentation. The world was no longer flat, and the Earth was no longer the center of the universe. These new revelations were printed, debated, and eventually accepted, thanks to the power of the press. Section 6. Social and political impacts. The printing press didn't just change how information was shared, it also had significant social and political consequences. With access to printed materials, people became more informed, and this led to the rise of public opinion. Governments and monarchs could no longer control the flow of information as easily as before. The press gave rise to early newspapers, pamphlets, and political tracts. Revolutionary ideas could now be spread with ease. The French and American revolutions, for example, were fueled by the dissemination of Enlightenment ideals through print. Ideas about liberty, equality, and democracy reached people in ways they never had before. This new flow of information also began to erode the power of the church and monarchies. People began to question authority, challenging long-held beliefs and practices. The printing press, in many ways, was the catalyst for the shift toward more democratic and egalitarian societies. Section 7. The long-term legacy of the printing press. The impact of the printing press is still felt today. It laid the groundwork for the mass media we now take for granted. Newspapers, books, and eventually radio, television, and the internet all trace their origins back to Gutenberg's invention. In a way, the printing press democratized information and set the stage for the digital revolution we live in today. It's hard to overstate how revolutionary the printing press was. It fundamentally changed the way humans communicate, share ideas, and learn. Without it, the modern world as we know it would not exist. The printing press was a technological marvel that transformed society on every level. It reshaped education, religion, science, politics, and culture. It empowered individuals and communities to access knowledge like never before. As we move forward in the digital age, it's worth remembering that many of the freedoms and innovations we enjoy today began with the simple act of pressing ink to paper. Thank you for joining us today on Wonderwave. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the ideas and innovations that have shaped our world.